Hi, for Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio radio live stream. Just as a quick note, I've noticed just when I hit live record here on this thing, that when it says live, there's about a 5-second delay until the live message comes up where it's actually recording. So I hadn't realized that until a day or two ago. But anyway, so what I'd like to talk about in this essay, and I think many of you will have heard now about this outfit called Sweet Baby Incorporated, Sweet Baby Inc. And it's an outfit that purports to dedicate itself to, it's all over the public domain, by the way, purports to dedicate itself to advising particularly like computer gamer organizations and that sort of thing on how to be more woke and more inclusive, diversity, equity, inclusion, and how to have more black lesbians in the storyline and so on. Now, the problem with this is there's a number of problems. One is wherever they put their clammy hands, that the product or the game or the whatever seems to not do very well commercially, and they're not playing in a game where there's this endless taxpayer subsidies and money gets showered on failure as it is with the whole diversity industry. But this is a commercial outfit where they're wanting to sell their products, in this case computer games, and they're not selling them. In some cases the product is doing so badly. Even a successful franchise, they'll have a couple of games in the franchise that did pretty good, and then on the third one they'll invite these people, not just Sweet Baby Inc., there are others, but they'll invite people like consultants like that in to show them how to be more diverse. But rather than add value to the game, certainly in my opinion at least, rather than add value to the game, they instead replace white characters with diverse characters who are morally superior, better at everything, who lecture the evil white people on their badness and so on. And nobody wants moral lectures and politically correct moral lectures shoved into their game. The games are there as entertainment and escapism and fun and so on, not as a platform or a vehicle for moral lecturing. Now, in some cases, if you talk to or you hear the senior executives in the gaming industry, they may say, look, we think we've saturated the market in this, so we have to find a way to bring in new consumers to purchase our product. How do we do that? Now that's fine. Those are questions that marketing and so on should always ask. How do we get new consumers? And now you do that by having a better story and a better product, better marketing, maybe more believable characters or more escapism. So you go down what has made us successful. Let's expand on that and just do better quality stuff. But no, instead, well, how can we get consumers in the gay and lesbian community? How can we get consumers in the black community? Not there's anything wrong with asking the question, by the way. But how do we get that? Well, we'll go to these consultants and they tell us that we'll just make these people morally and superior in every way to the white people, and then they'll want to buy the game because they can see people who look like them, who are morally superior, and kicking Whitey's ass and getting rid of Whitey, replacing Whitey, and all that sort of stuff. That's going, well, wait, hold on a minute. Now, anyone in a marketing department populated by people above the age of 10 would say, well, wait a minute. So we do that, and we maybe get 1 or 2% more customers, but instead we alienate the 100% of customers we already have by treating them like shit and ignoring them. Now, any marketing department would ask that. So why any game developer, movie maker, theatre producer, why anybody would think that hating on Whitey, who is your main audience, is going to achieve anything positive in terms of commercial outcomes is insane. It's just not going to work. It never was. And again, it's a very simple formula here. What is our core audience or our core buying group or our core customer base? Let's treat them like fucking shit. Let's tell them that they're all fucking Nazis, and that'll really work. That'll just bring them in droves. But instead, it has anybody can tell you, it has the opposite effect. And instead, these customers who you once had as loyal will go, that's it, I'm gonna. Now the gamer community got onto this Sweet Baby Inc. thing, and others. It wasn't just Sweet Baby Inc. These diversity consultants, and they're looking now at every game that's been had the clammy hands of the diversity consultants upon it, and now they're starting to really focus. So the industry's in panic. Now, why they ever did this in the first place, it just defies imagination. I've had marketing, having been in bigger corporate times, being a VP and an EVP and a divisional CEO and all this sort of stuff. I've had to deal with marketing departments, and they don't seem to be populated by the brightest people, but they seem to have it's a factory where they make marketing people, and they just and they like to think that they're creative and they're not controlled by any rules or bound by any. and I have most of the male marketing managers, not every single one, but most of them have been very grounded, and they've been very sort of, yep, this is what we need to do to A, keep our customers happy, and B, attract new customers. And there's something about that they're very focused on that, where I've found nearly every female marketing manager, again with exceptions, nearly every female marketing manager has been quite airy-fairy. They've had this sort of dreamy fantasy view of the world, where they would see, well, let's imagine we have a marketplace that does not exist, and then we'll sell to that, and we'll try and sell to that. And they seem to have a fantasia type outlook on things, far more so than the men do. Now you see that sort of thing, say with the Bud Light marketing, where again you've got this wealthy northeast Jewish chick who imagines this market that was never there, and so we'll just treat our existing customers like shit and pitch to a market that is small anyway, and even if we got a good share of that other market, still will be. So somehow we'll be able to gather new customers in addition to the ones we have by vigorously and viciously alienating our existing customer. I mean, again, you wouldn't, somebody in first year marketing in a community college wouldn't make that mistake, and yet there you go. So this is not just the gamer industry; it's quite widespread. What I'm interested in particular here in this essay is the people who, all these organisations that are around or in this industry. We've got very low IQ people who've achieved, produced, created, and built nothing in their entire life, and yet they're able to get these multi-million-dollar consulting gigs on how to hate on whitey and how to replace whitey with black lesbians and so on. A job or a position or a role that adds no value to anything. It's a net subtraction of value from whatever they touch, and yet they're showered in projects and money and contracts and so on. You think, holy fuck, how's that impossible? I know how hard in the business I've got to share and how hard we have to work to win contracts and the hoops we have to jump through. And these people swan into this, and we do add value, but and it's in a high IP area of work, where these people are in the lowest IP area. Just replace your main characters with white characters with black lesbians. There you go. Okay, thanks. Pay me up. I mean, it's absolute fucking bullshit. But I just wanted to. There's a lot of these. I mean, a fuckload of these organisations around, and I'll just look at one. And also some side issues here which are relevant. For example, did you know that there's an employment recruitment underground network that exists all across the world? And I didn't quite realize. I got into this actually recently. A friend of mine, or friend of ours, she mentioned that when the company she works for wants to hire, so they want to hire a diversity, they want to hire the proverbial black lesbian to work in, gender race quota type gig thing. And so they'll run an advert on a job board for a certain position, but the chances are that they're not going to get any applicants who are diverse enough. There may be black guy, but it's not a black lesbian. They just don't get the diverse people aren't applying. So we've got to hire the proverbial black lesbian, but no black lesbian applies for the job, let alone a qualified or black lesbian of any type. So they think, fuck, we've still. So instead of hiring the best person that's applied for the job, they go, no. The priority here is to fill the quota. That is the primary priority. And you've got a problem with that, you fucking Nazi. So they'll go to these underground employment networks where they say, look, we need a black lesbian to fill a job. Not a problem. Black lesbian coming up. And they will find a black lesbian for you. And then, she'll front the thing and you just hire her. Is she qualified? Well, who gives a fuck? We're filling a quota, race gender quota thing here. So who gives a flying fuck if she's qualified or not? Is she even literate? Who gives a fuck? Excuse me. I mean, if you're asking these questions about competence and merit, that means you're a fucking Nazi. So anyway, they get the black. So this is something that happens in the gaming industry, and I didn't know this, that they're supposed to, these consultants say, well, the reason you're not appealing to the audience, the massive audience for gamers of black lesbians, must be a huge audience, because you're not appealing. It's because you don't have black lesbian characters, but just as important, you don't have black lesbian writers on your writing team and your production team. So writing team in particular, because production team means you do have to have certain skills, whereas the writing teams, you just need a bad attitude and you're good to go. So there's employment networks, and again, these underground networks where these consultants can say, how many, you want 3 black lesbians on your writing team? Not a problem. Coming up, and bingo, 3 black lesbians are going to appear, and you hire them, and people that would not apply for the jobs ordinarily. Now, on top of that, they use terror tactics of, well, if you don't employ the black lesbians in the writing team and put black lesbian characters into your movie or your computer game or whatever, then we're going to put it about that you're all a bunch of racist, white, fascist Nazis, and we're going to, we've got contacts in the media and the social media. We'll be able to start a campaign, and you guys will be finished. You goose will be cooked, and so on. You never sell another game again because. Now this is a hollow threat. I don't think the gaming public, the people who buy the games, I don't think they're part of the woke eradi crowd or mob. They may quietly submit to it at work and say nothing, but the simmering annoyance of being morally lectured to all day long isn't cutting it. So buying the games and the escapism and this sort of thing is a kind of a way of fighting back, I guess. But anyway, so I want to look at the CEO of one of these hate on whitey type consultancies. Now, she's never really had a job. She's black, never really had a job. And she's just sort of wandered around part-time casual jobs in and around the gaming, if you like, the periphery of the gaming industry. And then there's a big conference, very prestigious conference, and it's very hard to get to be a speaker at this conference. Normally you have to pay a lot of money, or you have to be a huge name, or you have to have a large, there's an exhibition as well, and you have to have a large stand that you've paid a lot of money for. You have to have, you've got to spend a lot of money to get into it, or be a huge name in the industry. But somehow this unknown, low IQ activist black chick with no credentials at all, no achievements whatsoever, is invited to be a fucking keynote speaker at this fucking conference. Now, who pulled those strings? Who set that up? This person doesn't deserve to have any position like that. They've achieved nothing. They've created nothing. They've done nothing. But all they're planning to do is say, I'll show you how to hate on whitey and how to get rid of white characters and swap, race swap, gender swap and everything. And fuck, is that it? Is that all you're coming to the table with? Because that's fuck all. So anyway, she gets to be the the speech, by the way, that she made is online, and so you can view it. Now she's not a high IQ. She's no high IQ person by any stretch, and her she just talks like a street activist, very Marxist and that sort of thing. Just, well, look, we just had to replace white people. We just have to race and gender swap and swap straight characters for that's what we have to do. And you have to have non-white people on your writing team to do that, because white people couldn't possibly do it, and so on. And we have to infiltrate successful franchises. We can't create a franchise of black lesbians because no one would buy the game. And what we're to do is to change minds and turn things upside down in the existing universe by replacing reality in the existing universe with this strange fantasy universe of so I mean, here's a part of one show, one program. This is a TV program that one of these guys got involved in. Now the TV program went along, built up quite a following, and it was doing rather well. And then suddenly the diversity consultants were called in to give it the treatment. And the first episode of this TV program, the TV show that involved the diversity team, wow, did they hit it hard. So you've got, it's a cop show. So you've got this teenage female trainee cop who's there, and they're at the meeting. They're at a meeting where there's like the head cops and senior guys, men in their 50s and whatever that have been policemen for decades, and they're like the chief commissioner or something, and this teenage girl just comes out and gives them all a lecture. This is just a boys' club, and you're all fucking fascist, fucking Nazis. You're all Hitler. Where's the diversity here? Why are the trainees not all black lesbians? Are you fucking Nazis? And just absolutely gives them this terrible huge moral lecture. And so the diversity consultants, they have these senior police officers, men in their 50s, begging her for forgiveness, almost prostrating themselves on the floor in front of this tooty little teenage snot-nosed punk, begging her forgiveness because there's not enough black lesbians in the room. So that's sort of the first part of the thing, as you would expect in real life. Senior police officers begging and groveling on their knees in front of teenage girls who are morally superior. And then it goes on by the crimes. So the crimes that occur in this particular episode, are they crimes like murder or armed robbery or something, which is typically the fare of this program? No. What are the crimes of posting racist remarks online? Fucking racist, fucking Nazis, white supremacists, and that's it. And it takes this teenage female cop. She roots out these fucking racists. She finds them, and so that's but this is the effect of these. Now I only stayed watching the part of this because I could sort of see where it was heading, and I checked, and so here we go. Here are those racist consultants. They've been involved in making it. So I wanted to see the sort of stuff they were injecting into what otherwise was a reasonable series. But as soon as they touch it, they fuck it up royally, which is what happened there. But so this woman's at this conference, somehow gets invited to it, talks a load of absolute, nonsense about, racism and fascism everywhere, and only by replacing white people can we create diversity, and so on and so forth. Why isn't she going to China and saying, well, there's too many Chinese in China? Why isn't she going to Nigeria and saying there's too many black Nigerians in Nigeria? Why isn't she going to Japan? Saying too many Japanese? Oh, no. Only white countries have the diversity problem, which again just undermines that whole argument, in my view. Either diversity is an issue for everybody in the same way, but only applies to white people. I mean, fuck off. Now, at the same time, this was only 3 years ago, following that very unimpressive speech that she made, which was full of nonsense and crap. It was almost like a spigot got opened or the damn wall sort of collapsed or something. She got this absolute fucking flood of work coming in, of contracts and so on. You have these big company CEOs, CEOs that are supposedly have won their positions by merit and hard work, and all white and all straight. These CEOs are absolutely climbing all over her and giving her contracts and work and so on. That doesn't happen in the real world. In the real world, any sane, sensible person would listen to her and thought, what a load of fucking bullshit. But instead, she's been absolutely inundated with juicy gigs. And that's continued until sort of up to now, when there's a bit of a spotlight being put on these people and the terrible destructive work that they do. I just want to sort of say how widespread this is as well. We've been invited to apply to be speakers at a conference that's coming up in Australia, and we've got enough of a profile in the section of the industry where we can get that sort of invitation. But so we, filled out all the forms and so on. Now they came back and effectively asked for us to put money on the table if we wanted to go further. Or that was something that wasn't directly said, but that was the undertone. So we said, look, if you're going to guarantee us something, sure, we'll discuss money with you. But if we have to throw money at you for a maybe or for a lottery ticket, then we're not prepared to do that. So a few days went by, then another form, it's electronically, another form arrived, and so how diverse are your speakers? How many black lesbians do you have as speakers? Now the speaking slot that we've got is only 15 minutes, and part of that has to be like a graphical representation, like a short movie or whatever. So we've got one that we'll do. It's like 5 minutes. So really, it's only 10 minutes of speaking, and there's two of us speaking, and we're both straight white males. So there's not a whole lot of room for like another speaker in that. I suppose we could shoehorn somebody in if we were desperate, but they've pretty much said that preference, well, not pretty much said, they have said the preference will be given to those who have black lesbians as speakers. And we were amazed by it. And this is an example of how they force it in, because in some ways I don't care either way. I mean, shit, if you want a black lesbian, I'll find one. And I can rust one up if I have to, give her a few lines to say, and I'd just like to introduce, Billy Bob, and then that's it, she's done. But then I can tick the box saying we had a black lesbian there. So I can do that. But on the other side, I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute, I'm being strong-armed into doing something that I wouldn't do as a normal business decision. This artificial reality is being forced on us. And I don't like that. Same as the gamers who don't like an artificial reality being forced on them with black, lesbian, morally superior lead characters. But do these folks think, well, we've put in all this diversity and moral lecturing, and we've taken out the white people, and the games aren't doing well, or the product's not doing as well, or the movie's not doing as well. Well, we shouldn't do this then. Clearly it's not working. The consumer doesn't want it. And the consumer's voting with their wallets. And so we should stop doing it. No. The reason that the consumers are not buying it is because they're all fucking Nazis. That's why. Like, everyone who votes for Donald Trump, according to CNN and MSNBC, is a Nazi. So what they have to do is double down. So what we have to do in their cognizance is not commit ourselves to making a product or a service or a movie that the public wants to buy and wants to see and wants to pay money. No. That's marketing 101. What we have to do is we have to force those motherfuckers to buy the propaganda. We have to force them to do it. Same as in 1984. You can't switch the TV off. You have to look at the propaganda 24/7. And this is what we need to do. So because they're Nazis, we can't allow them to have choice. We must force them to do this with whatever heavy-handed. I mean, maybe we have to say anyone that doesn't buy this black lesbian game goes to prison. Maybe we should do that. And so they're doubling down. The problem isn't them and their piss poor marketing or their idiotic fucking DEI. No, that's not the problem. The problem is those fucking Nazis out there that just won't do as they're told. You've been a Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.